Okay, so I was listening to this interview on radio. I'm not going to get into the details or the person who it was, but they were talking about obesity, childhood obesity, adult obesity, teenage obesity, and the reporter who's reporting on this epidemic that we have, she said, there's nothing we can do about this. This is just, it's nobody's fault, and oh well. And I was like essentially that's what she was saying. Hey, what's up, everybody watching Wellness Week Live? Hey, don't forget like, subscribe, like, subscribe, like, subscribe. We are not medical doctors. I'm a DJ, but we have Dr. Magnus, who is a PhD in biochem. We're not giving any medical advice. Always check with healthcare professionals. Okay. Magnus, what's going on?
What's up? No, I'm good. We still have some bit of a schizophrenic weather here in California. It's hot, it's cold, it's weird, but hey,
yeah, man.
I can't complain. Basically, sunshine every day. So
yeah, bro. Well, yeah, Jersey's like this too.
Yeah, no, I think Jersey's been probably warmer than San Diego.
Yeah. I mean, we've had a couple 90-something degree days. Today it was like 70-something, but yeah, it's a little bit schizophrenic here too. So let's talk about this obesity, and two things we're going to talk about today: obesity and violence that we show our kids in movies and songs and videos. And okay, so let's talk about obesity. So
two important questions and topics.
100%. Now, first and foremost, there's nothing wrong. God bless. Big is beautiful. Everyone's beautiful. Whatever is in the eye of the beholder. So cool.
Yeah.
You're 100 pounds. You're 400 pounds. That's beautiful. Like I'm not here to say that is not beautiful or that's ugly. No, I'm not saying that. My argument is.
But Anthony, let's actually focus on the health part of it.
Well, that's what I was about to say. So right. So I'm talking about strictly science, strictly biology, strictly health, not beauty. Again, big is beautiful. Understood. Agreed. Great. We're talking about, Magnus and I are going to talk about the health ramifications for this, because there's a reporter, like I was saying, she came out with an expose, and again, she's not a doctor, she's not an expert, she's a reporter, but it really kind of pissed me off because she was talking on this radio station about, well, obesity. I mean, shame on people who try to, who try to address the issue or talk about the issue, because there's nothing you can do, essentially, and I was just like, come on. She was saying that, people are obese because they don't have a choice. They're poor, and they can't afford vegetables, and I'm sure that is the case, no doubt, because I grew up poor, by the way. But it's not black or white. It's not ones and zeros. It's not either or. I mean, last time I checked, tap water is cheaper than a can of soda. So it's more education, not that people don't have money or don't have enough money. Last time I checked, it's free to get up and walk. So this reporter really was very disingenuous, very red herring,
it's usually extremely cherry picking. You take certain bits out of the big picture and trying to paint a picture to, I don't know. I mean, does she have a specific agenda or something like that? She has an agenda.
She made it about economics. She made it about rich versus poor and black versus white, and it was so sad. I was like, and again, I get it. Obviously, if you're on welfare or you make $1 a year, you can't afford vegetables and organics and salmon. I get that. I grew up piss fucking poor. I understand that. But again, getting up and walking is free. Tap water is either free or very, very cheap compared to a can of soda, and on and on and on. So she made it very black and white, pun intended and pun not intended. And I was just like, she did a disservice. She pitted everybody against each other because I guess she wanted to sell a book she was writing. And again, she's partly right. I'm not disagreeing with what she said, but she's only partly right.
She didn't she doesn't paint the full picture in my view when I hear it.
Correct. And so my thing is, because she was saying like, oh, people put it on parents of obese children and they make the parents feel bad. And I'm like, that's true. You shouldn't make a parent feel bad. And sometimes I get it. It's easier than others for certain people. But my Aunt Lucy died of COVID. Okay. She was obese.
Yeah.
Like, what are we to do? Just act like, oh, well, what you can do? Just die. Like, that's what this reporter was insinuating. Like, nothing you can do. Really? Because my aunt died. So, I mean, like, there's nothing we can do. We just have to let people die. Like, come on. Like I said, we got to talk about fitness. You don't have to join a gym. Getting up and walking every day for an hour. have water from the tap, not soda, not iced tea, not juicy juices.
Yeah,
Don't.
and another
And
thing
that
is
makes
like,
a big difference. Right? The two
yeah,
things I'm saying, people may say, well, what's that going to do? What's that going to do? It's going to do everything. It's going
yeah,
to change your life. Those two things right there. Don't drink your calories, get up and walk every day. Game changer. If you
yeah.
don't have legs, then you do this every day for a half hour. You just move your arms for a half hour. And this lady, this reporter, she's looking for an excuse, and she found her excuse. Really shitty reporting, but go ahead, Magnus.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's what they're trying to say. It's also like they're trying to remove our kind of personal responsibility in saying that you can't do anything about it, which it's completely untrue. I mean, like you said, there's a lot of things that you can do. It comes down to making choices and having an understanding and taking responsibility for your actions. I mean, yeah, it's awesome to buy a dozen of donuts and like shove them in your face. I mean, you might get some joy out of that for a short time, but usually you're gonna feel horrendous afterwards.
Right. And the reporter was trying to make it sound like it's purely genetic. And again, I wish I was yelling at the radio. Dude, my retort to that reporter would have been like, how do you know it's genetic? Did they get their DNA helix unraveled and measured every, chromosome and every molecule? How do you know it's genetic? How do you know that? Like, this reporter was a really shitty reporter on a major station. Shame on them, but go ahead.
So Anthony, one of my close friends, she's doing research. She's a professor in biochemistry. She's working at a university, and a lot of her research is focusing on around obesity and actually people that have a genetic disorder on that actually have a real genetic disorder, to have a sickness that you don't feel, you always feel hungry. So even if you're eating a ton, you always feel hungry, that you need to eat. And like percentage wise, we're talking about 0.000 like 1% of the people. I mean, there's not that many people in the world that have this disorder.
Right.
So when
but
it
they
comes
all
to
live in New Jersey,
yeah. So when it comes to genetic disorders of actually having like an obesity gene, it's very uncommon. The problem comes down to the same thing. I mean, it's mostly lifestyle.
Of course.
And again, it's sad. I mean, and we need to stop. And it has kind of turned the other way now. Now people are starting to shame people that are living like being healthy and fit. You're boring. You're not. You never do anything right. You're
fit shame.
You're crazy. You're spending hours in the gym, or like moving, and like you're so. And it shows you're so shallow, because the only thing you care about is your looks, or whatever it is that they start saying. And I mean, I don't think that's a healthy way of doing it either. I mean, we're still obviously kind of shaming people.
But 42% of Americans are obese. Okay, that's almost half of the country. By the way, and
that's insane.
It's not about the size. It's not about the look. Again, big is beautiful. You're 400 pounds. I think that's beautiful. Okay. You're 100 pounds. I think that's beautiful. That's not it's about health. So for instance, why obesity is a problem? It's a problem because, do you care about your children? Do you care? Never mind yourself. You want to kill yourself, that's fine. But do you care about your children? When you are obese, you have higher cancer that's going to happen to you. You have heart disease that will happen to you. You have osteoporosis that will happen to you. Your bones will break down. That will happen to you. Do you want more cancer? You want your kids to have more cancer? You want your kids to have more heart disease? Well, then you have to stop the obesity, and you can stop it. By the way, most of the people who are obese, they're not poor. They're middle class, upper middle class, and wealthy. So I know people personally, I'm sure you do, Magnus, too.
Yeah.
They got a shit ton of money, and they're college educated, and they just want to do it. Okay, cool. They want to do what they want to do. Again, fine, but you're gonna do it to your kids, man. Like, come on. So it's like, you do your family, whatever.
But it's the same thing. Just look at statistics, and if you're breaking it down, I mean, if you have two parents that are obese, I mean, the risk of your kids being obese is extremely high, right?
Right.
And even if you just have one parent that is obese, the risk is way higher for your offspring, to actually have the same issue, because they're mimicking patterns too. I mean, it's not like a kid can walk around and basically they usually don't have an income, so they can't buy their own food, and usually they're not skilled enough in the kitchen to cook their own meals, right?
Right.
So you can't basically like blame your kids that they're overeating, because the food is coming into the house somewhere else mostly.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so it was for me. It was a thing again. This reporter and a lot of people that I know, they try to make it like, oh, nothing you can do. So you're just gonna, oh, you're okay with dying then? Is that?
Yeah.
No, there's something you can do, and I'm not saying you can cure everything. I understand that, but again, water or soda. Water is usually cheaper. It comes from the tap. I mean, and even tap water is better than soda or iced
Yeah.
tea or lemonade or alcohol or what do you call it? Getting up and walking every day.
Yeah.
You don't have to join a gym for that.
Yeah. No. I mean, you basically can just go outside. I mean, it's usually you're able to walk somewhere. I mean, or even if you're living in an apartment, you can walk up and down
Stand
the
in place and
stairs.
walk. I
Yeah,
stand in place and walk in my place. I don't go
or walk
anywhere.
up and down the stairs. You know, I
100%.
mean, it's the same thing. So the first thing, and that's kind of the first thing, like if I'm working with an obese client, the first thing we're trying to get you back to is actually like first adding in more like healthy variants of food, and then also like being able to move, like actually get off your couch, get out of your bed, and actually start walking, because that is definitely something that people needs to be able to do. I mean, we are built to walk.
I walk in
And
place in my house. I watch TV. I
yeah,
stand up and I
yeah,
walk in place for a half hour.
yeah.
What?
No,
Why can't I do that? What? I did it. I do it. What?
yeah, no. I mean, again. I think it comes down to people are building in like way too many barriers into their life and hindrances. So what they shouldn't be doing, so they can actually like they kind of continue feeling that what they're doing is right in some way or form, in their own mind, and also I think that a lot of people have gone into thinking more that food needs to be a pleasure, or that it's some kind of relief or whatever you're eating for, instead of seeing it as energy
Yeah,
and
and it can be,
building blocks.
but food can be a reward and delicious. I mean, it all depends on how you
Yeah,
prepare it. So,
yeah,
and that's the other thing. To your point, a lot of people think, well, eating healthy sucks and it's boring. Who said that?
yeah,
It depends how you cook things. I mean, and so you don't have to be a chef to, I mean, but yeah, I mean, there's always look if you're looking for excuses to fail and be obese, you're gonna find it again.
yeah.
And if you're looking for excuses to, lose a little weight and get healthier, you can find that too. So, anyways, okay.
But it's always easier to point fingers, like the problem is it's actually like the cause of the problem is someone else's issue than actually yourself, right? and, and,
100%.
and like we always talk about, it comes down to like your actions and also the consequences of your actions. I mean, yeah, I understand, like, and again, we're like, this is from a health perspective, that why being overweight is not good. I mean, it puts so much pressure on your body, and it increases so many risks of most diseases and mortality. So I mean,
Yeah.
it feels like again, we're trying to swipe a lot of the problems in like away in the corner, or under our carpet, and says that, well, it's not there. Well, it's obviously there, and
Yeah.
we're
It's
having
killing
an issue.
people, hurting people every
Yeah.
day. 100%.
And it's just getting worse, and
Oh,
and
yeah.
and we can't just like I mean, we can't just sit back and let this happen. We have to start like educating people and try to hinder this,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
this is the real epidemic. I mean,
Yeah.
like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and right. So, anyways, all right. So, yeah, awesome. So let's move on to violence now. Okay. Now, Magnus, you're a guy's guy. I'm a guy's guy. I love my, my commando army movies. I played sports my whole life. You are former military. I'm no sissy boy. I'm not saying I'm Bruce Lee, but I love mixed martial arts. I love boxing. I love contact sports. I played contact sports my whole life. I've been banged up, bruised up, whatever. I'm all about it, baby. But let's be honest, especially children, and I think adults too, when we watch these movies, it doesn't matter if it's a war movie, it doesn't matter, like if whatever, one of these famous actors beating the shit out of everybody, or these superhero movies. I mean, very gory. I don't know. I mean, how good can that be to show our children and even ourselves? I mean, what are we putting in our minds? And, it should be no shock to anybody that, of course, America's a violent place. We lust for it. We love it. We want violence in a subconscious way. We pretend, oh, no, 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 bad, bad, bad. But then we let our kids see someone get their head blown off and, yeah, it's just a movie. No, but a child is a child. They may say they know it's a movie, but you're putting things in their head. It's just like putting junk food in your mouth. What do you say, Magnus?
I mean, like there's a rating system on movies and TVs and games, and there's a reason for it, right? I mean, we need to understand that being exposed to things over and over and over and over. Either, I mean, like we get kind of nonchalant to it. I mean, it's the same thing. People that are driving their car constantly, they're like putting on makeup or shaving within the car or having a giant meal while driving. Yeah. I mean, you should probably focus on actually driving when you're in your car, right? For safety reasons, your own and the people around you. And it's the same thing like with alcohol. Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, just a little bit here and there. Yeah, literally, you're an alcoholic, because you like summarize it. And that's the same thing I think with violence too. Like in games and on like social media or in media, you kind of you don't really understand the how real violence work. I mean, because most people that have been exposed to real violence are very cautious about it and do not want to end up in any fights or things like that.
Right. Yeah. And again, I think it's a problem when we glorify and let our kids dress up as the monster that cut somebody's head off. And I get it. Like, I'm not a prude about shit, but it's just like, I don't know, because I'm bringing that up now because, it seems like our country's getting more violent by the day. Yeah. And I'm not saying that movies and music and video games are the only cause, but they are a cause in a bigger puzzle, but they are a contributing factor. And we can't be too surprised. Like, we do this, but we let our boys, especially, I know people that let their kids watch some of these graphic, just gory superhero movies. And it's just like, your kid is 8, 9, 10. Like, really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I mean, it's and it's so weird too that like, so in Sweden, it's a little bit different. I mean, our like film and movie censor, like they were way harder before. They have become a little bit more relaxed, but since I was like traveling back and forth, I was visiting the States and then like living back in Sweden, it was fun because like I was able to see movies, both the American version and then the Swedish version, and they were both were cut, but in different ways. So in Sweden, we usually remove the violence, right? If it's too much violence, it got shut off. But naked people, completely fine, like that was okay. In the United States, like, show as much graphic violence as you want, basically, but like naked skin, no.
Yeah, really weird.
So when you see the two different movies, you're like, this wasn't in here before, and it's like, and that disappeared. So it was interesting, and I kind of got exposed to it at like when I was a teenager. So you definitely notice the difference. But I mean, again, like, there's a reason why we have a rating system. And like, looking back at it, I think it's good. I'm happy that I didn't get super exposed to a lot of ultra violence or over violently movies when I was a kid. And then, like, when you get into your teenage years and things like that, it kind of changes because you're watching movies that your friends that you might not like be allowed to watch at home,
and we let our kids take this into their bedroom, and we think they're safe, but they're not. Because, Magnus, I was on YouTube a couple days ago. I'm on YouTube every day, everybody else watching, whatever stuff and funny cat videos and whatnot. But I saw this video of it was like, I guess, on a news outlet in Europe, and it had to do with the Ukraine war. Mm-hmm. And I, just clicked the video to watch. It was like some live footage, not live. It was video footage of a particular battle in the Ukraine war, like 2 days ago or something. And dude, I'm like, wait, did I just see a Ukrainian soldier just get killed? I was like, holy shit! I think I just saw, like, they showed that. Yeah. And I was like, whoa! Like, I just saw a guy a Russian soldier threw a hand grenade at a Ukrainian soldier, and I watched this man take his last breath. And I'm like, and I'm an adult, I can process that. But there's children in their room on this, and mommy and daddy think they're safe, but they're watching people die. Like they're watching the same video I watched, and it was reported as news. So it wasn't anything pornographic or illegal.
But you see, but remember, like all the videos with the beheadings and things like that.
Right, that was out there too. Right.
Yeah. So
right.
so again,
but in a way, it is pornographic.
Yeah, and looking at it, that's a problem with technology, because the filters kind of disappear. There's no real like safety nets anymore. So if you don't know, I mean, it's so the craziest thing is when a teacher in our school, he like looked at one of the kids' screen what they were googling, and he was like how to poison people and a bunch of things like. And this they're able like to get through in school to do research or whatever they're doing. It's nuts, you know.
That's what I'm saying. And I think parents facilitate it too, because they let little Johnny and little Jane, typically little Johnny, we bought him a machine gun set, and we bought him like a plastic machine gun set, or we bought him the big plastic machete, and it's like, I don't know, man. Like, you know what? Back when we were kids, the 80s and the 70s and 60s and 50s, different story. Society was a little bit more put together. Today, I think there has to be. I don't think they should be selling toy guns to children. I don't think they should be selling plastic machetes to children, because we're in a different world now, man.
Yeah.
And I think, it's just, and you like to think parents do their job, but most parents don't do their job. And
Yeah, I mean, yes, I think like that's one thing that like I do understand if you have like action figures and they might have a gun or whatnot. That's one thing. But when you're looking at it like that you yourself are using it, like, and the sad part here, even if you have like the orange, like colored and things like that, there's still a lot of people that people mistake it for a real weapon, and either the police or someone else shoot kids, or it could be adults that are out playing with them too,
right?
Because they could be realistic, I mean,
right.
And nowadays, I mean, you can buy like handguns that are in different colors too, so you never know. So
of course, yes,
yeah. So it is kind of a danger, and I mean, it's. I do understand, because me growing up, we also played like cops and robbers and whatnot, like we war and things like that, running around and shooting at one another and whatnot, it's a phase, but I mean, I think it's still important that like having a talk, like when if you're letting your kids watching a movie that is violent, that you actually talk about, like this, like, do understand that this is just like fiction. It's not reality, and like there's got to be some type of line, and also like a conversation about it, not just that I let my kid watch whatever and do whatever. I mean, it's about taking responsibility as a parent too, and seeing what your kids are exposed to.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, but parents want to stick their head in the sand, and I get it. And anyways, well, that's all I got to say about this. So, Matt, is anything else before we wrap things up here?
No, like we said, like share, like, and review and comment. Like, we want to hear what you guys think too. And again, if you have a question or anything for us, or there's a topic that you want to discuss, yes, please get a hold of us.
Yes, thank you. Absolutely, Magnus. Looking good over there in Cali, baby. Get the hat going, the swag going, baby.
Yeah, we came home late, so I basically jumped in straight in front of the computer and got us going, and like can't miss Wellness Week, right?
Right, you're like, honey, I can't talk to you right now. I gotta go on my show.
Yeah, exactly. We're busy. We got things to do.
That's right. All right, Magnus. Enjoy the rest of the night. Thanks, everybody.
All right, guys. Take care.
Signing us off in 5, 4, 3, 2.